So we have a wonderful speaker for tonight. This is a man that leveraged the collective spirit of the state of North Carolina to make a difference in the Department of Environmental Quality. And then he went on to leverage the collective spirit of the entire nation through the Environmental Protection Agency to accomplish some great things, some things that are still coming to fruition. So please put your hands together one more time and provide a warm Appalachian welcome to Mr. Michael Regan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now, before I talk, I think they want to show a quick video from Governor Stein. Governor Stein and I are great friends, and so I believe if I speak and they not show his video, I might have to hear about that. So give us one moment, and they're going to play that video, and then I'll come address the crowd. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Josh Stein, and I'm honored to serve as your governor. I regret that I'm unable to join y'all in person, but I'm pleased to be with you by video for the Appalachian Energy Summit. This year's summit is about resilience, obviously an incredibly appropriate theme. When Hurricane Helene swept through western North Carolina more than a year and a half ago, App State stepped up in extraordinary ways. Mountaineers served more than 80,000 free meals. The Holmes Convocation Center sheltered displaced residents, and students rallied together to ensure that no one was left behind. Building on that strength, we must continue to work together as we move into the new phase, the next phase of recovery, rebuilding for the long haul. That certainly includes restoring reliable infrastructure so families can count on safe, clean water. Since I took office, North Carolina has deployed more than $860 million to restore Helene-impacted water infrastructure, rebuilding these systems to be more resilient against future storms. North Carolina was the fastest state impacted by Helene to award its federal water infrastructure funding. In the past 18 months, we have restored fully 97% of water systems damaged by the storm. We have made great progress to strengthen the region's resiliency, but there is so much more work to be done to keep North Carolinians connected in every part of the state. Resiliency also means building new clean industries and making sure that energy remains affordable for businesses and families. North Carolina is well positioned to lead in the industry shaping the future of energy, from electric vehicles and low emissions aircraft to battery and solar panel manufacturing and the production of rare earth magnets critical to our supply chains. Businesses are choosing North Carolina, and we are building the clean energy economy here at home. This spring, I proposed a state budget that invests in a stronger, more resilient energy system, and the work of my bipartisan energy policy task force will help ensure that we continue lowering costs, protecting consumers, and supporting economic growth. You and your neighbors have proven to be mountain strong, and that's what we want for the long-term future of the region. Together, let's build a Western North Carolina that is safer, stronger, and more prosperous with real opportunity for every person. Thank you, and best wishes for a great conference.
All right. Well, thanks to Governor Stein for that warm introduction, and I want to thank Mike for his introduction as well, and Mike's leadership. And then I want to thank Appalachian State University, the organizers of Appalachian Energy Summit, all of the students, the faculty, researchers, community leaders, elected officials, and partners that are gathered here tonight. It is so wonderful to be back here with you all. In many ways, for me, this feels like a homecoming. I've been on this campus a number of times and actually had the privilege of speaking at the Energy Summit in 2017. At that time, we were discussing energy efficiency, sustainability, and the opportunities that lie ahead for North Carolina. At that time, we were talking about the future. Today, nearly a decade later, we're still talking about the future. But what we're doing is we're talking about the future with a much deeper understanding of what resiliency truly means. As you all know all too well, over the last several years, this region has experienced something that no planning document, no engineering model, no policy paper can ever fully capture. It's very tough to prepare for something as powerful as Hurricane Helene. And while statistics can tell a story, many of you have actually lived it. Lived the devastation, lived the uncertainty, lived the heartbreak. Entire communities saw roads disappear, homes destroyed, businesses damaged, critical infrastructure compromised, and lives forever changed. Shortly after Hurricane Helene struck, I had the opportunity to tour the affected areas alongside of President Biden. What we witnessed was sobering. The scale of destruction unlike anything many of us have ever seen in the mountains of North Carolina, or any mountains for that matter of fact. But what stood out to me, what stood out to the president more than the devastation was the response, your response. I returned a couple of weeks later to help convene leaders across the political spectrum, including Governor Roy Cooper, Senator Tom Tillis, Congressman Chuck Edwards, and Asheville Mayor Esther Meinheim. And what struck me during those conversations was something that we don't see so often today. People understand that resiliency and recovery are bigger than politics. This is not something that any of us have all the solutions for, not Democrats, not Republicans, not the federal government, not the state government, but all of us. Neighbors helping neighbors, communities helping communities. That is true resilience. And that's why this year's theme is so very important. Because resilience means many things to many people. Engineers think about resilient systems. Architects think about resilient buildings. Energy experts think about a resilient grid. And emergency managers think about resilient infrastructure. But before resilience is anything else, resilience is actually about people. It's about a community's ability and willingness to stand back up after being knocked down. It's about refusing to allow adversity to define your future. And if there's one thing that I've learned throughout my career, it's that no communities embody the spirit of resiliency more than Appalachia. It's been passed down generation to generation. The people impacted understand how to do more with less. They understand stewardship. They understand self-reliance. They understand that the resources are precious and that what we build today should serve future generations to come. Those values are not new. They've been defining the characteristics of mountain communities for centuries. And today, they remain one of Western North Carolina's greatest strengths. As we rebuild and recover from Hurricane Helene, those values will be more important now than ever. Because resiliency is not about simply replacing what was lost. It's about building something stronger, building something smarter, something that is better prepared for the future that we know is coming. That is where gatherings like this summit play such an important role. The conversations happening here, they're not theoretical. They're practical, immediate. They are vital. One of the most important lessons from Hurricane Helene is that the buildings we construct, well, they actually matter. The homes we build, the schools we design, the hospitals, community centers, and commercial buildings we invest in, they all matter. When power goes out for hours, days, or even weeks, buildings become more than structures. They become shelters, community hubs, lifelines for our friends and families. A resilient building is one that can continue protecting its occupants even when surrounding systems are stressed and compromised. That means smarter designs, better energy performance. That means buildings capable of maintaining safe temperatures and supporting human health during extended outages. And the exciting thing is that many of these same building strategies actually reduce energy consumption. In some cases, these high-performance buildings can use up to 75% less energy than comparable coded compliant structures. Think about that for a moment. Lower energy cost, more comfort, more reliability, more resilience. These are not competing goals. They reinforce one another over and over and over. That same investment that helps us prepare for future disruptions can also reduce costs for our families, our businesses, our schools, and taxpayers. That is the kind of innovation that we need more of, not less of it. And that resilience extends beyond buildings. It extends to housing. One of the lessons communities across America are learning is that housing is infrastructure. We often think of infrastructure as roads, bridges, water systems, and power lines. And while those things are absolutely essential, housing is as well. Communities cannot attract workers, support businesses, or sustain economic growth without stable, affordable, safe, resilient housing. Schools can't thrive if families can't remain in their community. Businesses can't thrive if employees have nowhere to live. Economic resilience and housing resilience are inseparable. And as Western North Carolina continues its recovery, housing must remain a part of that conversation. The same is true for energy. The same is true for transportation. The same is true for water systems. The same is also true for community institutions like Appalachian State University. Everything is connected. And that is why resilience matters and is an all-hands-on-deck need. Not a single entity, whether government, academia, or the private sector, can do it alone. No single organization rebuilds a region. Communities rebuild regions. And that's exactly what we've witnessed through Western North Carolina. We saw volunteers step forward. We saw local governments begin to innovate. We saw businesses support recovery efforts. We saw universities contribute expertise, research, and shelter. We saw ordinary people perform extraordinary acts of service. As a matter of fact, in many ways, it reminded the nation of something Appalachia is known for. Strength is not measured by what happens when conditions are easy. Strength is measured by how we respond when circumstances are difficult. And by that measure, Western North Carolina, Appalachian State University, has demonstrated remarkable strength. So as we look to the future, I believe we have an opportunity, not just simply to continue to recover, but to lead, to show the country what resilient communities actually look like, to demonstrate how energy efficiency, thoughtful design, strong infrastructure, housing investment, and community engagement all work together to create a model for rebuilding that is rooted both in innovation and tradition, and to ensure that the next generation inherits communities that are stronger than the ones we inherited. When I stood before this summit in 2017, we were discussing possibilities. Today, those possibilities have become necessities. The work we do right now will determine how well our communities withstand future challenges. The decisions we make now will determine how well future generations are prepared. And the partnerships that we build right now will determine how strong this region will become. Fortunately, this is something that you all are very well positioned to do. You understand perseverance, you understand stewardship, and you definitely understand the importance of community. Those values carried you all through Hurricane Helene, and those values will drive resiliency for the future. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you all for allowing me to return to Appalachian State University. And thank you all for being here. Because like Mike said, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? Folks, don't let anyone fool you. You all have the answers. Now it's time to get to work. So let's go. Thank you all.